Hey guys, Chris Ashley. Welcome back to Passion for the Wild and Wonderful. Today what I want to do is go over how to take a soil sample so that it can be sent out for analysis, whether you're doing food plots, maybe you're just doing regular yard or field maintenance, but all you need is some simple tools such as a shovel and a bucket. Things that I just have lying around that I can easily do or use to grab my soil samples. So generally what I'm dealing with is 1 acre food plots that I try to get samples for. So across 1 acres, I probably get 7 or 8 various samples. That way I have a good assortment of samples across the plot. I combine those all into the bucket, mix it all up, and then it gives a good average of what the soil type or the soil looks like across my whole plot. And then I'll go run that through a drying process, pick out any of the remaining sticks or debris so that I just have good, clean, dry dirt. I'll put that in a Ziploc bag, fill out my soil analysis request, and I ship that out to be analyzed. Now for me, I use West Virginia University. As being a West Virginia resident, my soil analysis can be completed free. And what they'll do is provide me feedback with the amount of lime required, also too the different quantities of the fertilizer that I might need to meet the requirements that I've said that I'm going to plant for the upcoming season. So they also would like to have an idea of what kind of soil type you have, what was previously planted, what's going to be planted, and they use that for estimating and providing you recommendations for how to treat your soil. So what I'll do now is I'll go through and show you just the simple process of how I collect my soil samples. So what I've done is picked a random spot right here where I'm going to go ahead and do my first soil sample. What I like to try to do is remove any of the debris as I can to try to go ahead and get down to bare dirt. So try to scrape it away. And then what I'm looking about sampling is I'm trying to get down to probably 2 to 4 inches in depth of soil. For me, one of the things I generally do with my plots is till. So I'm actually going to get down deeper into the soil some, but I can also try to till a little bit shallow so that I don't get down too far. And I want to make sure that what I'm sampling is representative of what I'm going to be planting in. So just take your shovel, go down in, pop it up, take your bucket. What I try to do is just get a representative here. So I'll just take and break some off, put that in the bucket, see if I see any kind of obvious roots or sticks that I can go ahead and pick out, because that's something I'll just have to pick out later. And then just make sure that it looks like a reasonably clean sample. And then what I'll do is from here I'll go around and choose 6-7 other different spots doing the same thing, combining it all together, and then I'll show you when I go through the process of laying it out and drying it. So one of the things that you can do, and really you want to make sure that your samples are random. Some people will just walk around randomly doing it. Another thing that they occasionally do is maybe just take an object and throw it out and use that to help guide you of what is a random location. So I'll just give an example. So for me, I'll just use my hat maybe as a frisbee, and I just walk and see where my hat lands is where I go ahead and collect my next sample. So again, what I'll do, clean out the area, take my sample, make sure it's clean, add it to the bucket. And then I'll just keep repeating this process. Alright guys, so I want to just bring you up to speed now. So I've got all my soil sample for the 1 acre plot that I need. One of the things that I did is I took a shovel after I got it all in the bucket and came through and kind of chopped it up to break up the soil a little bit. I want to try to get it into small little clumps so that as I spread this out, and this is just the technique I use to try to spread out the soil and put a little floor fan on it to dry it out. Part of it's just me and my impatience, but I want to go ahead and get the soil dried out as quick as I can, and then I'll go ahead and remove any root fragments, leaf debris, anything that's not good clean dirt. And I'll also break it up and mash it up again so that I have just a good fine dirt, good quality sample that I'm going to be sending in. So I'll just show you. All I do is just take like a piece of cardboard and I'll spread this out. And this is a good bit of a sample. Again, it's something that also too, by chopping it up, I'm mixing it up. But I'll try to break up these clumps as best I can. For right now, they'll get to where once it dries, I can break it up even easier and get what I think is a good sample. So I have at least a large amount here that I'm not going to use all of it, but again, I'm just trying to make sure I get a good blend across the whole 1 acre. I try to make this nice and shallow, not real deep, because at least with me, when I do it this way and I turn my fan on, I'm able to probably get it dry in 24 hours or less, probably. With using the fan and having it inside here, I'll be able to have this sample ready in no time. So what I'm going to do is turn this fan on, let it dry, and I'll get back with you whenever we go through and it's dry to pick out any kind of the material that we don't want to have in it when we're shipping it out for our sample. And then I'll show you how then I go about packaging it, the forms that I fill out, and then the process that would be to ship it out to go ahead to, in my case, West Virginia University, to have the soil analysis completed. Hey guys, so my soil is dry. It took under 24 hours for it to go ahead and dry with me putting the floor fan on it. What I'm going to do now is I like to go through and use a block of wood or anything to just go through and try to break up some of the clods that are a little bit bigger. And then I'll collect what they say or suggest is about 2 cups of good soil. Put it in a bag, and then I'll take you in and show you how to get to the soil survey form that you need to complete and submit with your soil sample. Okay, so what I'll do now is try to just get to where I'm able to combine and get the finer, less clumpy dirt, making sure too when you do it that you don't have any solid debris, sticks, rocks that are in it. So what I'll do here is I like to try to separate it out after I break it up and get some of those fines. And I'm looking for, again, about a cupful. Go ahead and just put it in a regular plastic sealed bag. And then what I'll do is at this point too, I'll look if I see large chunks still, or I see roots or little sticks. I'll go ahead and sort those out, trying to make sure that I have as clean a sample as I can to send in for analysis. So that looks pretty good. And they say anywhere from, let's say, 1.5 cups, or maybe even as low as 1 cup to 2 cups. So I'll push all the air out of this. Seal it up. And then I'll show you here. So I don't know if you can see it easily, but nice, small, fine, clean dirt. And I'll take you in now and show you how on the computer you can get to the WVU website to download your soil form. There's also some information there as far as the various soil texture codes. There's also some examples of proper forms that are completed and improper forms to just show you some examples. So next thing I'll do is take you inside and show you on the computer. Alright guys, so what I have here brought up on the computer is the website for the West Virginia University WVU Soil Testing Laboratory. What we're looking at is the soiltesting.wvu.edu website. And on it, you can click up here on the top and go to soil test form. And in this section here, if you scroll through, you'll see where you can find the downloadable soil test form, how to fill the soil test form out, and examples of correct and incorrect filled forms. Within that soil test form, if we click on it, this is an example of the form. At the very end, you'll see some additional information as far as crop codes, your soil texture codes, as well as a tillage code that you'll use to fill out this form. So again, you can use some of the examples that they provided, or starting at the top and just recognize again, the soil samples for all West Virginia residents are free. So what you would do is indicate that you are a West Virginia resident, your first name, last name, your address, email, regular mailing information. They will be doing their communication and providing you with your soil sample results through your email account. Your soil sample ID is just whatever name you want to give it. Maybe it's food plot XYZ or yard ABC or garden XYZ. So you would enter that in, the county where the sample was taken. They also would like to know what was the previous crop that you were growing, and that is located on the back part of that survey form, which is your crop code, and you would enter that in. You also would indicate whether, example, is a high tunnel sample, such as it's something that's similar to a greenhouse. So for me at least, that's a no. I never go ahead and really pay the extra for the organic matter sample or the electrical conductivity. The size of the area sampled, which for me is normally 1 acre. The predominant soil series, I normally just indicate that it's, the county that I sample and maybe it's clay. You can go on the USDA site and locate what type of soil it is, whether it's a soil series like Monongalia. But I generally don't go into the detail of trying to locate exactly what that is. So crop code, that is what you want to be planning on planting. That helps them to provide you an estimate on recommended fertilizer and lime applications. The date when your sample was taken. Soil texture code, again, can be found on the back of the survey form as well as the tillage code. Generally what it's looking for is, do you have clay soil, clay loam, sandy soil? For me, at least here in West Virginia, all my soil is practically clay, maybe a silty clay. Tillage code, whether you're going to do no-till, whether it is tilled, standard, that code gets entered. You can go ahead and enter any additional information or specifics in your comments section. They ask, has it been limed in the past 12 months or not? And then if you're part of any kind of a share program. The rest of it is completed by them. And so what I'll do is show you just generally next of what you do with that form once it's completed and your soil sample that you collected. They ask that you include your form with your soil sample for each one that is provided and then shipped to them. So one of the things you'll see is the address that you'll need to be using is located at the top of the soil sample form. And you can work with your, generally with the Postal Service, they have a specific address here that they'll normally use and provide on the outside of your shipping package to go to the West Virginia University Soil Testing Laboratory. All right, guys, so what we've done now is we've got our form filled out and we've collected our sample. Now again, what they ask is that with each sample you include your soil sample submission form, and they want to make sure that they're kept together. So what I do is I'll roll my soil sample up, try to get all the air out of it I can, seal it back up nice and tight, and then I take the associated completed form and I'll wrap it around that soil sample. And then at that point, I'll either wrap it with some rubber bands or put some Scotch tape on it to hold it together, because generally for me, like I said, I normally will include 2 or 3 soil samples at a time. I generally get a large manila folder, put my sample in it. Again, make sure that you have already included on the front your shipping information that was located on the top of that sample form. And then take it to your postal service or whomever you plan to ship with, and they'll take care of it. Plan to check your email within the next few weeks. I've had soil sample results from the time they received it in less than a week, and then I've had it anywhere up to maybe a month to month and a half. But what they'll then do is provide you with a result that you can then use for giving you recommended fertilizer applications. It'll also tell you the recommended lime application. Within it, they might recommend ag lime. They might recommend you to use dolomitic lime if you have low pH, but also too you're low on magnesium. They might also recommend specific fertilizers such as, I think it's like 0022 if your magnesium level is low as well. And then also too for, I believe it's the associated potassium level that you're trying to address with it also. And with that, you should be able to do your applications. And again, it's all with respect to the type of crop that you're planning to grow at the time. Those are where the recommended application numbers come in. So I hope you found this useful. It's just a quick, clean way for at least me here in West Virginia to be able to collect my soil samples, be able to have the analysis done for free. Only thing I have to pay for is shipping the sample to WVU. And within just a short amount of time, I am able to get my results. And I've been fortunate that when I follow the application rates that they've provided for me, and I follow up with another soil sample the following year just to make sure how things have come out, it's almost been spot on for my fertilizer and lime applications. And my food plots show that it really has brought my soil requirements to where they need to be. So again, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you think it has, please like the channel, subscribe, ring that bell so that you know when I'm putting out some more content for you. And I look forward to helping you out with our next video. Again, my name's Chris Ashley, and good luck out in the woods.